All right, that one's done. Yay. All right, let's launch a new one out there. This one will be fun. I'm going to try to have fun with it. I don't know if anybody else will be able to have fun. Maybe you'll have fun with it. I don't know. This is pure nightmare fuel, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, all right. Well, let's get to it. Is it possible to dislike something 50% more than there are likes? Of course there is. You just usually phrase it differently. This has a 2-to-1 dislike ratio. That would tell you that your dislikes are outnumbering your likes by a factor of 2-to-1. A lot of, I would say, trade media papers, shills, maybe you would call them, are trying to obfuscate the fact that nobody cares about something. And in this case, that something is Ironheart. And to tell you the truth, I don't care either. And I'm pretty sure my guest isn't a big fan at all. And of course, as we get started, quick reminder to double check you're still subscribed to the channel and be on the lookout for a new channel here coming in just a few weeks from my friend, Kevin Apollo. Hey, Kevin, how you doing, buddy?
Go on, brother. It's a 2-to-1 ratio. Come on, boys. We got to pump those numbers up.
Oh, those are rookie numbers.
Those are rookie numbers.
Okay. All I know is when you get around to the story, and this is brilliantly written by Marvin over at That Park Place, which I would say go over there and subscribe for free or join the VIP membership. It's cheap. It's only $5. But some of the VIP stories are great. You know about stuff like weeks before they actually show up anywhere else in the news. But in this case, this is showing up everywhere because it can't hide. Ironheart dislike ratio continues to skyrocket as fans slam trailer with 64% negative feedback. And I'm going to tell you right now, you're right. Those are rookie numbers. We can get those up.
It's that, or legitimately no one cares. So this is the best that we can get.
It's quite possible that just enough people don't care that they're not bothering to dislike it or like it. Either way. How about that kind of apathy? Is that where we are? Is it this the most apathetic offering we've ever seen?
Honestly, I think so. Listen, look at Daredevil. Daredevil was beloved on Netflix, and no one cared. No one cared about it. So I think we are in the apathy phase of the MC. Poor Thunderbolts. Can't wait for trying, even though it's the brightest return.
They can't draw up some hate, Kevin. They can't draw up the hate. Nobody cares. Like you can't even pretend to hate this or care. Nobody does. And again, this is being marketed in the most tone deaf way I think I've ever seen anything, but we'll get to that in a minute. And I know you probably have a lot to say, but the Ironheart trailer isn't just underperforming, it's collapsing in real time under an avalanche of dislikes. This feels very Snow Whitey to me, but hey, I could be wrong. Well, when we began writing this article, the video had 312,000 dislikes. By the time we hit publish, the number had already jumped to 315,000 dislikes against just 177,000 likes. That number didn't change. Yeah, I don't think you're going to get... I think everybody who thought they would like this thing has already said, this will be fine. It's not, but we'll get there. But a 64% dislike ratio, that's rough. That's tough sledding. But... And here's Marvin's thoughts. I want yours. That's not a stumble. That's a full-on audience revolt. Is this a revolt? Are we revolting against Marvel Television, or just bad Marvel Television, or just this show? What do you think?
Listen, I think it's just Disney in general. People have kind of had their fill of bad, or dismal Disney content. Marvel has been especially egregious. It's been downhill since since Monica told everybody, "You'll never know what she sacrificed." After we watched the Scarlet Witch imprison a bunch of people and torture them for a year, you gave a TV show, one, to a comic book character who is so unliked. She has never sold more than 6 consecutive issues, and that's with them playing funny with the release dates. She just can't sell a book. And then she was the probably the least likable character in that Mourncorn that we like to call Wakanda Forever, a movie so long, so miserable, so boring that if you walked in there an atheist, you probably found religion because it took a higher power to free you from the experience. I don't no I was gonna say I don't know what they're thinking, but I know what they're thinking. Kevin Feige is not and never has been the guy. He wanted this to happen. He made it happen. The thing sat on the shelves for 5 years, and he said, I want my strong, powerful whammon in an Iron Man suit, and you're gonna take it whether you want it or not." And to no one's surprise, no one wants this. They want Tony Stark.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the problem. None of these comics that she was ever in sold. When you look at the numbers, it's embarrassing. Not a strong enough word when it comes to this. And when you think about the character, it leaned into all the worst stereotypes that you could imagine. And I felt like they're not going to possibly try to do this again, but they did. Explain to me the appeal of this book, because I don't get it.
This is how we're first introduced to the character. It flashes to her being a little kid. I think she's in elementary school, maybe middle school, and she walks up to her teacher, and she says something to the effect of, "I need you to tell me that I can't do XYZ because I'm a girl." And her teacher, who's also female, goes, "Well, that's not true. I can't do that." Then the teacher thinks about it for a second, and then she tells her that, "No, you can't be a scientist," or whatever nonsense it was, because you're a young girl, and that's not what girls do. And then we jump forward in time. To her being the bestest, brightest ever, scientist, and then the book ends with her stealing the Iron Man armor. So we have an expectant, unlikable Xennial who stole glory. She might as well just be named Rey Skywalker. That's your introduction to her in the comics. The Marvel Now era was amongst the worst selling, widely rejected, fan despised era in Marvel Comics. Everything they did went wrong, and it was inspired by, honestly, an influx of a bunch of post-feminist neo-Marxists who wanted to destroy everything that was likable about characters.
I want to reiterate just how little interest there was in this, Kevin. Can you guess how many books, the 12th and final volume of Ironheart, can you guess how many it sold?
Let me see. Let's see. Maybe 20,000.
You overestimate something dramatically by twice. 9,011.
Oof. So
the book was almost the bottom of sales in 2019.
Oh my
Book 12, the last book of the series, on November 27th, 2019, sold a grand total of 9,011. There were only 3 other books worse than that: Runaways, Arrow, and Swordmaster.
Oh my gosh.
That's how bad it was. And that's how bad it is. And this is something nobody wanted. There was no legacy, which is one of the weird marketing strategies they're taking. There's none of that. There was no legacy to begin with. There was no interest to begin with. This was garbage. And everybody knew it was garbage. And I don't care if Bendis was involved in this or not, because I really don't have much respect for Bendis. That's just me. But when you look at this, it's a lie. They're selling a lie, and everybody knows it's a lie. And when you look at it, it's awful. Yeah. And again, it's not just me that noticed that this was on par with Snow White, Kevin. Marvin said, "A dislike disaster on par with Snow White." I couldn't have said it better myself. It is a contender as a percentage of like to dislike as to how little people are enjoying this. It's basically the same level of rejection because there's a lack of interest.
Yeah.
And Marvel's desperate name drop strategy is the part of the article I want you to talk about, because the marketing for Ironheart has leaned hard on the legacy of Iron Man, not on this girl. Right?
Yeah.
This Dominique Thorne, this poor girl that thought this would be a step up for her career, was recalled that she got a backstage 2 thumbs up reaction or interaction from Robert Downey Jr. Okay.
Okay.
He's a nice guy.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no connection between these two other than she stole his suit to reverse engineer it.
Yep.
As far as I know. Tell me I'm wrong, Kevin.
No, you're 100% correct. The most you got was she got a Tony AI, I think, at some point in time to try to give them a closer tether. But that's about it. And again, culture. This is what drives me crazy. When you rolled into Endgame, and we all know what Feige really wanted. He wanted Thanos to kill the main 3, Cap, Thor, and Iron Man, and then have Captain Marvel come in and save the day. And fortunately, the Russos were like, "No, you are chewing on some illicit mushrooms if you think that's going to go over with people." And since then, Feige has been a one man wrecking crew. Sure, he threw Victoria Alonso under the bus because it was convenient. But
well, I don't know if I'm going to push back on that. It wasn't convenient because she's kind of hefty, so that bus had to work to get over. Go ahead.
He thought he was going to escape to Star Wars, and she was the heir apparent. And then what? Now we got, oh, well, I'm just so busy, I can't stop and talk to people. That sounds like poor management skills to me. Disney purchased Marvel proper because, frankly, they wanted to gut the mines and extract as many blood diamonds as humanly possible. And this guy took it and threw it off of a cliff and said, "I've got a better idea," and it's led them to nothing but ruin. So I don't know. Honestly, I would tell you, I think he's worse than Kathleen Kennedy. At least Kathleen Kennedy is honest about her disdain and has a very specific vision, but tries to color inside the lines. This guy just wants what he wants, and he saw Marvel now failing, and chose to back the dead horse. He dragged it across the finish line, and we're supposed to be shocked that this isn't working. And I feel bad for all these poor kids who took these jobs as actors, thinking it was going to propel their career, and now they're going to be, they're going to catch a lot of heat and have a hard time getting work, because once you're saddled with a bomb like that, it takes years. It takes years to get that stink off, especially with how modern Hollywood is. So I feel bad for this girl, because she does not deserve what's about to come her way. And dude, the marketing of this, I'm so sick and tired of Marvel doing, there's black people in this movie, and rap music just starts playing because someone melanated is breathing. The Hood is an awful character anyway, but the guy doesn't look convincing. He doesn't look like a supervillain. He looks like he's going to a Star Wars convention as Darth Bone Thugs and Harmony. There's just nothing relatable here. There's nothing credible here. They're like, this is embarrassing.
I understand. Sometimes you get some bad news on the phone, and it's still not as bad as the trailer you're watching. But look, we got to talk about dumpster diving built in a cave. What's harder, stealing somebody's stuff or building stuff from scratch? I mean, this whole thing is like this, right? They're trying to elevate some kind of creativity or creation by this person, and at the same time, what's worse is this looks like plastic. This looks like a low-tier Power Rangers cosplay costume, and not one that I would normally see in an Iron Man equivalent. I think I'm getting tired of this. But Riri, this doesn't do well. This does as well as Miss Marvel. This does as well as Captain Marvel, to be fair, especially how many times have we rebooted Captain Marvel?
First of all,
6?
Carol Danvers was beloved. Carol Danvers was a beloved character. And then came the blue hairs. and they turned her into something she was never meant to be. Like,
Yeah, it was the Tumblr crowd that got a
yeah,
hold of her, right? Yeah.
yeah. It's like, she and Carol was always cool. And I remember I went to go see Captain Marvel, and I'm like, why can't Marvel just be Marvel? Like, you cast Annette Bening because you wanted a surrogate for Elizabeth Warren in the movie. I can see what's happening here. The Marvel was a cool character. You pulled one of the greatest characters off of the board for Marvel Comics and replaced with Elizabeth Warren.
And this isn't the first time where they've struggled. They struggled with that show Echo. That was another
Oh
forced
God,
situation.
I forgot
This
about
is kind of being dropped in a similar way, not all at the same time like they did with Echo, but the first 3 of 6 episodes are dropping the first day. That's coming up here real quick, and it's going to have the same look and feel. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, do you think that there will be enough to stick to people's bones for them to even remember that they cared about watching this in the first place?
No,
Do you think? Do you think the first 3 episodes? No, it just. Do you think the first 3 episodes are going to keep people around?
no, absolutely not. I think Marvel thought they were going to have way more positive momentum coming out of the Thunderbolts, and it's DOA. I get it, fine. It didn't do terrible, and I get it. There are some people who seem to want to enjoy it, but the fact of the matter is, no one wants to go see it. No one's talking about this movie. I think they figured they could hide it in between the goodwill for Thunderbolts and what they imagined was going to be the goodwill for Fantastic Four, and it just would be, it would just be a fart in the wind. It would just come and go. But unfortunately, there is no interest in Fantastic Four. It's non-existent. So instead of it being a fart in the wind, now it's a fart in church. It's going to drop, and everybody's going to be talking about how terrible it is because there's nothing else to occupy the space. And then you're going to roll into Fantastic Four. What, 2 weeks later? What, 2 weeks later? Um, with a ton of negative press, and I think it's gonna hurt Fantastic Four in a way that Fantastic Four was already going to hurt itself.
Yeah, I don't see an upside, and I think that they're not even prepared to deal with what the fallout of this will be. After the lack of recovery as far as box office is concerned with Thunderbolts, as far as the fans speaking on this, they're not going to be able to claim any kind of success for this. Ryan Coogler is worse off for putting his name to it. And this character is not something that can show up in one of these Doomsday movies.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know,
sure. I'm sure they'll force it.
well, there looks like they're forcing an awful lot of things people don't want, Kevin. But I'll give you the final word on this. Do you think this is the end of this kind of forced bologna sausage, or do you think Disney just has no end for tolerance of abuse when it comes to the product that they make?
Oof. I think it might be a little bit of both. I think it's only going to stop because it has to, but not because they want it to. The money is drying up. The parks are in shambles. There's the brand. The brand Q has never been lower. People are kind of just sick of Disney in general, and I think I think they're already at the crossroads. They're going to have to make a decision. They're going to have to decide, are we going to continue down this path and completely implode, or at least try a way to fake it till we make it, and give people something they may want to see. We know that Doomsday and the Robert Downey Jr. casting as Doctor Doom is a pure desperation move. But while we march to this $7 jillion movie, they're going to have a lot of dead air in between, and they've got to figure out what they need to do to try to at least, I don't dare say win back some goodwill, but at least stem the tide of apathy. You've got to at least stop people from not caring. So I'm not quite sure how you do that. Is Punisher the answer? I don't know. The I don't know, but whatever this is, no, this has got to stop. This has got to stop. Bring back Ike.
Hey, I think Ike would be a great return, but I don't think he wants anything to do with Disney, Marvel, or anything of that ever again. I think he's going to enjoy his giant amount of money and just move on. And look, I mean, if I were him, I would take a look at investing in Disney when they, drop back down around the 70s, which at this rate, I think or could happen during the term of Trump's presidency. I think we could see Disney crash down. This is not stock advice, folks. These are just my thoughts and opinions. Okay. But I don't think that Disney has been a good steward of any of the IPs that they've grown to control. And if anything, I think they've largely destroyed the fan interest in what they have. But the question is, will people have their fandom destroyed by Riri Williams and this Ironheart shenanigans, or will people just not even realize it's on and be disappointed by Fantastic Four instead? Let me know your thoughts on that and on the Ironheart Show down in the comments section below. And you can find Kevin over on WDW Pro Live regularly and pretty soon on his own channel. Oh, he also hangs out with that Marvin guy on Toontown TV and Wrestling, so you can probably find him there as well. And as long as I can keep him coming here, I'm going to have him here for you. As always, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya! But not watching Ironheart. Thank you very much. That was fun.